How's it going? How are we, peoples? So, if you want to join me, you'll need to send me an email. I don't know why I keep doing this on a Saturday. I think it's about time I ended it on a Saturday evening with this stuff because it's pretty pointless. A few things I want to say regardless of that. So, again, quick for anybody new that may discover any of this stuff. We're investigating the objective reality we share. It's science is not something that belongs to an institution or a group of people who have ownership over it. We're talking about the world that you and I both share, and we're trying to display practical references to each other in regards to claims we are making about the world that we share. Now, if you apply that to the globular Earth, you will find that it doesn't add up. There's many places that people may start. I can maybe talk about that a wee bit later on. But if you're coming into this, you have to clear your bias. You have to understand what a proper, I use the word science because people relate to the word science, but for me it's just about living. It doesn't have to have a label. As I says to you, for a human being to show me something practical or some aspect of the reality that we're sharing, then that's all that's required. I don't need a language, I don't need anything else. We can understand things by playing with them practically. That's what you done as a child, that's what you should have progressed into, get into your adulthood, was having a discerning mind, the ability to think clearly and to play with reality practically. That was taken away, by your education system, and you were put into a situation of, listening to words, language, regurgitating, repeating, and it's taken you away from your natural constitution, which is just being a human being and experiencing the world through practical means. That's where you need to be at. You have to be able to demonstrate things in a practical fashion. Now again, going back to it, if you apply that to the globe, heliocentrism, religion, spirituality, ideologies, concepts, you will realise that they're no things that are based in a practical way. They are just the imagination of human beings. Okay? So the globular Earth fails at every hurdle in regards to practicality. It is purely a mathematical concept. It is not a three-dimensional tangible object. People are believing in it because they see an image on the TV screen. You have institutions professing that they're going to some vantage point and that they are showing and depicting to you that the Earth is a sphere. You have no witnessed any curvature of the Earth. You have never seen a body of water bending. Your experience of reality is that it's a level plane that you're living on. We understand that, and we have applications that we utilise in everyday living that assume a level Earth beneath our feet. So it's no, it's not a cartoon, it's not a straw man pizza dish flying about a vacuum of space with an ice wall and all this rubbish. This is, if you've arrived here, you're looking at somebody who's endeavouring to push for an investigation, full exploration of the area that we are confined to. There is areas that we're not allowed to go to and that we have to discover what is actually going on there. I'm way beyond, having any sort of debate or discussion about, the shape of the Earth, to be honest with you. Again, I'm open to just display, openness. If anybody wants to come and try and prove to me that the Earth's a globe, that's up to you. You're welcome to do so. But I'm really not interested in it. I've done enough, digging myself to come to the realisation that it's definitely no curved Earth. Okay, no, the way they've depicted it to you anyway. Okay, it's my experience of being level. That is our experience of reality. Anybody who's trying to convince me of something else better have something substantial to take me away from my own discernment, my own experience. That's the attitude you should have as well. You cannot enter into fallacious reasoning, fallacious logic by appealing to consensus. It's fine if you want to be somebody who just goes along to get along and you adopt beliefs and whatever else, that's up to you. I would, strongly recommend that you don't do that to yourself. There is no place within the human mind for belief. Unless, of course, we're talking about, self-transformation, achieving certain goals. Then you can play, metaphysically with yourself in regards to setting goals for yourself and having a belief that you can achieve it. When we're talking about the objective world, belief is not required. It is what it is. It's not going to change according to your wishes, your whims, or anybody else's for that matter. No amount of equations, man-made language, descriptors, any of that stuff is irrelevant. There's an aspect of reality that's here that we are all sharing. You can just show it. It's very, very simple. So that's just a wee brief, kind of overview and introduction. Again, if you're somebody that's curious, don't be scared to get in touch. If you want to come on here and have the discussion, you may be somebody that's sitting on the fence, you may be somebody that's curious, then, come and ask the questions, come and interact and have a discussion with somebody like myself or anybody else who may be willing. What I will say is that there's a lot of disinformation out there, there's a lot of propaganda, and the majority it's deliberate, which is one of the things I'm going to talk about in a wee minute. I said this away at the start. When you come into this, it's not like you have a book to go by. This as far as I'm aware, has never happened before. So we've got all sorts of factors, involved with this topic of discussion. Some of the factors are just natural progression of real people making discovery, and the other factors are deliberate coercion, propaganda, misrepresentation. There's aspects that we can look at, as again, I'm going to discuss some of these in a wee minute. So, hello everybody. Again, if you've got something you want to discuss, by all means send an email to the above email address. I'm really not interested in waffle and, weather talk, to be honest with you. It doesn't stimulate me. So, if you get something that's a burning passion and, maybe it is somewhere you are in your own being, your own mind, your own contemplations, then by all means, let's hear it. Sometimes it's good to discuss these things with other people and you can get some clarity, further understanding, new avenues, new doors may open up for you. So this is the problem with human beings. Human beings think because of this system they've been born into, it's been portrayed to you that we've got super intellects that have figured out the whole universe and that you're just little old you with your minuscule intellect and your ability to discern and all that stuff. So people have got these egos and these attitudes where people think they have to have all the answers, and that they're going to be the saviour of man and saviour of the world and all these delusions that go on. You really need to rein that in. Being honest, reducing the ego as much as you can and showing a bit of humbleness and being willing to have open discussion with people is where you get progress. You can't run about with that child, not even child, like that adolescent, teenage attitude of know-it-all. It's not going to get you anywhere. Nobody knows the objective truth of our existence, the objective truth of where we are situated within the bigger picture, why we exist, what consciousness is, why we have inner experience, why we have emotion, why we have thought, why we dream, why we sleep. None of these things are known to human beings. Human beings are desperately clutching at certainty. And I think there's factions of human beings who are professing certainty in order to, achieve a certain psychological and emotional state within the populace. Now, the narratives that have been spun, as far as I can see, are of a disempowering certainty. Tarted up is wonderful and amazing, but really, the underlying subtle subliminal goal is to disempower you, make you feel insignificant, lower your self-esteem. At the same time, shackling you, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, to be confined within a specific area. Now, that happens politically, it happens in religious ideologies, it's everywhere. If you take all the religious ideologies, the majority, or all of them that I can see, are telling you that there is certainty, that you're where you're supposed to be, that life is this, that and the other, and here's what's expected of you. Here's what happens when you leave this reality. Nobody knows any of that stuff. And I understand that, people just like myself have a want and a yearning to have an understanding and maybe to have that certainty. Because for me, I feel as if we should have had the certainty. Now, I don't know what's happened in the past because there's a blind spot there. But to me, I feel like in the past at some point, we would have had a chronology of real true events, real true history that connects us to a past and a history that is true so that we have grounding and we know exactly where we are. That's lost right now. And we're in a position of total bewilderment, confusion, and falsities. And these falsities are the false certainty. We know what the universe is. We know our place within the universe and all that gobbledygook. We know how the universe began. Rubbish. Total and utter lunacy. That's been passed off as scientific. It's not. It's conceptual. It's abstract. It's based in language. It's like an art. It's not objective. It's not true. It's not real. The problem is that people attach to these things because of the burning ambition to have certainty. They're born into a situation that I consider a cult, where things are being reaffirmed to them. They're being groomed into the cult from childhood to certain acceptances, belonging, and then that becomes solidified. Now, as adults, these people want to cling to it. It's solid within them, and they're scared to crack it, they're scared to let it go. This is just part and parcel of the situation that we're in. And it's pretty tough, but at the same time, there's people that have went through it, like myself. You're not going to die. You're still going to be you. It's just that things become clearer. And then you can stand on a ground of saying, I don't know, with clarity, confidence, certainty. And hopefully if people can achieve that same stance, then we can have that progress. Maybe we can reconnect with the true chronology of where we actually came from. And what a place within this reality actually is. I've said it so many times before. You don't know where you are, or why you're here, and how it came to be. But yet we're running about creating systems and ideas from relationships to spirituality to political systems. And they're just ideas. They're not objective truths. So people need to let them go. Anywho, I don't want to digress too far. I'll gather my thoughts and we'll have a wee discussion of the title, We Arrived Unorganised and Suspicious, because I did. I've wrote we, and I didn't mean to generalise. I can only represent myself. But I put it in there because I'm pretty sure some people will relate to, what I'm going to talk about in regards to this arriving unorganised and how this cult already was organised. And I'll share a bit of my experience and what I've seen in regards to this cult and its organisation. So, how are we, peoples? Well, any structure of hierarchy that you create, we can have a discussions about hierarchy and some aspects of its necessity. But in regards to a structure that we share, if you're creating a hierarchical structure, it's going to get corrupted. It's just the nature of the beast. And again, the nature of this reality, that's other aspects that I'm sick and tired of with people, continually talking about this reality. Again, going back to the certainty that, we're supposed to be here. It's wonderful. It's this, that and the other. And, it's like, it's not that it's coming from a negative depressed state of mind. But when I look at this reality and I look at some of the horrors that have unfolded and that I've been witness to in my life, and that the stories that I've heard about that have been reported, not just in regards to human beings, I'm talking about what we call nature as a whole. It baffles me that people, can come to the conclusion that it's somehow wonderful, and that it's at it's at the hands of some, benevolent, loving, invisible person that's got our best interests at heart and all this rubbish. Well, if that was the case, then I would have to say it's a pretty harsh fucking lesson. I would like to think the reward at the end of that's going to be absolutely fucking amazing. Yeah? But then again, we get into warped ideas of heavens and what that's about. So, anyhow, I forget where I was going there. But, we arrived at this unorganised and suspicious. So, we're waking up at all different times. We're all coming in from different backgrounds. We are afraid. The good people, the people who have a good heart, who are empathetic, who are peaceful, who want an artistic, creative, constructive thrill life, we're coming in afraid. We're coming in with suspicion because we see the lies. We have, stumbled upon a huge realisation about the very reality we have assumed that we were a part of. And these groups, just as was referenced earlier, they've been organised for a very long time. So we're coming in afraid, we're coming in with suspicion, and it's taken time. At the beginning, this was really raw. I mean, I was a real sceptic and real cynic and suspicious of every fucker, and to an extent, I still am. But as time goes on, you start to see the consistency of certain people. You start to relax a wee bit and see that, they seem to be all right, they're consistent in their walk. The material that they put out there, the information that they share is good information. And I think that's what people need to focus in on. Regardless, you don't have to place trust in the individual. That's not where your attention should be. Your attention should be trusting yourself, trusting in your own ability to discern. If you've not sorted that out, you need to catch yourself on as to why you're looking at information. Information that you're looking at you should be able to achieve a knowing and understanding of the information, or else it's irrelevant to you. What I mean by that is that you have to be able to experience the aspects of the information you're looking at. So that's what I'm saying again about the scientific endeavour. We have to be able to, access things as a whole so that we can verify or falsify things as an individual. So don't get attached emotionally to individuals. And as I say, we're all coming in afraid. This cult has been organised. Again, going back to my early days of this and my experiences, and particularly I'm going to focus on Facebook. And for anybody that doesn't know, I had a group on Facebook that was taken over by these organised groups of people. And the organised groups of people are still operating. They operate as a network. And, a lot of the individuals have many, many accounts. And it's all to give the illusion and the appearance that they are many and that we are few, when it's the total opposite. We are the many, they are the few. So they can only play with tricks, parlour tricks, to try and blind us and confuse us and to keep us separated from each other. Now, when I say separated from each other, I don't mean we have to have unity like kumbaya, you're my brother and all that stuff and I love you. No. We need unity in regards to the information. We need unity in regards to the topic at hand. That's where we need the unity. So anyway, they started off organising groups right in the early days from 2014, right? They created groups on, social media. Facebook was one of the main ones. Now, a lot of these characters are still prominent within these groups, and the anti-vaccine groups, and the chemtrail groups, and probably a few other groups. Now, these early characters, they were, I went a real battle with them. That's another aspect of this. You can get caught in that. You can get caught in the fight, where you can identify that these people are deliberately, standing against truth and the progression of truth. So it kind of gets you to, oh, I'm going to fucking battle with them. I'm not going to break. And I done that. I went through that process. But through that process, some of these characters actually revealed to me, what they had at hand, which was, many sock accounts, and obviously, organised and knowing each other as characters. So from the off, they know each other as characters. They know they're part of the same agenda. They know the goals that they have to achieve. So they network and they support each other regardless. They knew they had a goal. The problem with, us coming in frayed, we never had that opportunity to know each other, to know that we were aligned for the same cause and that we had certain goals that we were trying to achieve. So, we were up against it from the off. The good thing is that you've had people with determination through time that have kept at it, and that's allowed people to see, consistency and putting out good information and the ability to discern and tear apart the bollocks that they're offering us. And I appreciate these people, and there's many of them. So now we're starting to see that. And I think for me, if we keep at that, it's only a matter of time before, it becomes apparent that we are the majority and they are the minority. So, if I keep forgetting where I was going with all this fucking stuff, but anyhow, that's what happens when you don't have a teleprompter and a fucking team behind you writing your fucking scripts, I think the reason why I'm saying this stuff is just, to say to people, somebody like myself, it was never my intention. Some people may have viewed me as divisive and whatever else, but my skepticism, my cynicism, my suspicion is justified. And again, I've said it from the beginning, I never set out here to be anybody's guru, leader, friend, any of that stuff. I'm here as a man pissed off about my situation. I'm here as a man fed up with all the crap, all the waffle, all the ideas, all the rabbit holes, the disinfo, the concepts, the delusions. I'm sick and tired of it. None of it has ever felt real to me since childhood. I always knew something was wrong. From relationships, families, to the system, the structure, education, politics, governments, social interactions. It's all fucking back to front. So I'm tired of it. That's why I've come into this with such a contempt and a fuck you attitude. Because I really am tired of it. I'm not scared of the truth of my existence or where we actually are. I really am not. And I think people still need to ask themselves the question, do they really want the truth? Is that really what you're after? Or have you get involved in this because it was something trending? Whatever your reasons may be, why are you involved in this? You really need to ask yourself that. I'm sick and tired of philosophising about my existence, playing mental gymnastics, listening to gurus, plastic messiahs. All I see is a mental institution, a hellhole, with hypnotised human beings running about, repeating and spewing all sorts of crap that doesn't make any sense. Life is wonderful, life is a gift, it's beautiful. What? What the fuck are you talking about? I think you better have a better look here. Something's not right. Anywho, so, make no bones about it, this cult has been organised for a very long time. For me, this cult was preparing for this time when we were going to start questioning the validity of the claims that are being put to us in regards to our existence and where we actually are. Because like any lie, it may work for so long, but there just seems to be something about the human being that's only going to work for so many generations, and then we're going to start asking questions. So it's almost like they knew it was going to happen, and then sometimes I think they incited it to try and control it, to try and make sure they had it under wraps, which has backfired on them, because there's certain people, certain attitudes that they could never have accounted for. So as I say, don't be under any illusion that it's just all people and it's just all chance happenings and this, that and the other. This is organised. It has been from the off. And it's not just organised in regards to what I would consider the fake resistance to us questioning. They've got people on both sides of the false dichotomy. So you better have your suspicion, you better have your backup, you better make sure that you're not putting your guard down, involving yourself in social groups, getting along just to go along to get along and satisfy your own wee subjective fucking needs. You need to be sharp. You need to be clear about the situation and what it is you actually want to get out of this. Because so far, for me, it's been a bit of a disappointment. I think there's a lot of people that profess they want truth, and it sounds good to say they want truth, and they're willing to go to certain levels to appear as such, but really, they just want to be a somebody. They're Stockholm syndromed to the structure, the cult, the system that they were born into. And they see it as an opportunity to maybe be a celebrity, to be a somebody, to make money. I don't know. Again, I'm only putting that out there. I think people need to ask themselves what their real incentive is, because for me, as I say, it's unadulterated, straight to the point, fucking truth I'm after. I don't care about the subjectivity of other human beings and their delusional need for certainty. I know nothing, but I want to know. Where the fuck am I here? What is the bigger picture? What's beyond this limited area that's been laid out by man's geometry that's confining us? What else is out there? That's the magic for me. No, the bullshit, substitutes that we get in the TV screen, just there to subdue your natural inquisitive, inquiring nature. I don't care about any of that fucking rubbish. The reality itself is more magical than any pish that you can show me through this TV screen. Again, people have removed their attention from seeing that magic that they're a part of. It's just mundane life. Potato rock in a vacuum. It's just rock and dirt. No. There's an immense design to this. There's immense complexity to this whole fucking thing that intrigues me, as I say, more than any bollocks that any man's got to offer me. Stop worrying about your politicians and Brexits and all this fucking crap. Start demanding that we have real people representing what we actually want. What is the majority's true desire? I dread to think that it's a better BMW and an extra 20 grand a year. That's fucking depressing. Anyhow, I've digressed and rambled too much. I can't remember what else I was going to say. Some of the other things that these groups let slip was that, the early ones were calling themselves Bullingdon Badgers and all this. If you look at the honey badger, that was their emblem, and there was American factions, there was British factions, but they all worked together. So when you trace that, you're tracing it right into the heart of the upper echelons of society, and that's who these people were, directly related, directly working for these people. So, all the other crap is fine. You can call the Queen a baby eater. You can tell everybody the Queen's a shapeshifting reptile. You can talk about aliens from outer space. You can talk about the government hiding aliens in Area 51. You can talk about anything. But don't question the room. Keep them busy. Give them all sorts of distractions, all sorts of fantasies, all sorts of fucking rabbit holes, anything but questioning the room. And if they do question the room, we'll offer them up some strawman bullshit about domes and fucking ice walls and all that crap, and then we can laugh at it. Anywho. It'd be great if I could get some stimulating conversation. No offence to people or anything, you know, I don't mean to sound as if I'm up my own arse, but no, seriously though, I just can't be arsed. There's no rabbit holes that I want to get down anymore. I've been there, seen it, done it. I say there's certain aspects of you know, other aspects of our existence that you can highlight to people and show them contradictions and lies that may send them on a spiral of a greater awakening to the reality of their situation. But for me, you know, I'm beyond that, I'm past it. I don't have any ambition to talk about the straw man and, you know, the Illuminati and fucking the Freemasons and this, that and the other. I can't be asked. I just cannot be fucking asked. All I give a fuck about is finding out what this room is. All the stuff that's in the room is still in the room and will be a part of the room should we find that the room is some sort of enclosed area or whatever anybody wants to imagine. If that's the case, then aye, by all means, let's knock ourselves out by, and you know, going down all the rabbit holes of the contents of the room. But for me, it's hugely important. And as I say, if you look at the whole structure, you know, regardless of what you're looking at, every single part of it is lined with the same theme. You're supposed to be here. You're within a finite area. There's nothing else to discover. Don't go anywhere. Here, watch the telly. Chase a delusion. Become a celebrity. Set your goals to these trinkets that we have offered you. They're no off your own back. That's what you were born into. That's the goalposts that were put there for you with a choice of their stock. No yours. Yeah, we've got a world full of people that think they're individual and special and unique. You know, that's fucking garbage. I see through it all. Sorry. Doesn't impress me. So, if you're going to come in, please have something specific. Right. Anton, David Marks, Billy Wazza, Eye Level Awakening, Anders Ace, Nicholas Brown, Beyond Belief, Selling Alien, Flat Accord Music, Julie Bennett. What does impress me? Don't know, I'm trying to come up with something witty. There is things that impress me. There is wonders, things I'm amazed by. You know? But, you know, nothing impresses me in regards to the regurgitation of, you know, the structure, the cult that we were born into. None of that impresses me. I'm sick and tired of it. Sick and tired of everybody ruffling their feathers, their peacock feathers, trying to impress everybody with fucking face masks and nonsense. Right, sorry, where was I there? Right, where are we? Wilder Scotland, straight to the point. There's no other way for me. I can't be fucked tarting things up. Tracy Story or West Coast Wisdom. Chris Rosen, don't take any wooden nickels. Tim Brown, eat. I see they found out the universe is 80 million years older than we thought. I know, that just sounds impressive. You see, this is the shit today. This is like a liar's trick. Tell a lie and then say, oh, do you know what? I was actually wrong. I was actually wrong about that. It's actually this. And then somehow that galvanises people into trusting them even more because look, they've corrected themselves. Well, the universe, we said it was 14.3 billion years old, but do you know what? We need to add another 80 million years onto it because reasons. Because somebody with a telescope seen a speck of dust that was the colour brown. So, if we just bullshit them and then tell them, oh, you know, oh, whoopsie, look at us being honest, we made a wee mistake, we need to add another 80 million years on, oh. It's all pish. It's all total and utter bullshit. Again, they're coming up with finite stories. Because you're part of the infinite, the eternal. Whether that's reflected in the physical, so that the physical is infinite and eternal. Or whether we're confined by a set boundary, but the infinite and the eternal somehow flows through it, permeates it, gives rise to it and supports it. I don't fucking know. But all this bullshit about finite nonsense is the work of man. It's totally illogical. It's totally unreasonable. You cannot go any avenue to come to a finite point. Because human beings can't deal with the infinite and the eternal because you can't box it in. You can't make it certain. You can't define it. And that scares human beings. Because I said they've got this need for certainty, which I think is just a schism caused by the circumstances that they're born into. You can't box it. You can't define it. So when they come up with all this crap, the universe started at this point, it's bollocks. Anyway. There was a FPV Angel, Mr. Golden V, Baron Bronskevich, Sumiota, Unsalted, Tony T, Beyond Belief, Phil Jones, Brandon Cook, Body Sticker Than Water, Tony, John McLean, Marilyn Wisby, Eduardo, David Marks, Siddy El Carchi, Brandon Cook, Stephen Watson, Neil W, Chris Rosen, Andrew Calvert, how you doing? So do I, Julie Bennett. It's it's more comforting to me than, buying into human beings' concepts of certainty and finite nonsense. Alexander Lightwater, Angus Fitzsimmons, Forest Green, Boris Chops, Stars and Bars. Unsalted, Sea Level, Martin Haley. I'll sort the poker night out soon, mate. Dave Hinkle, how you doing? DJ Black, David Blair. I smoke too much, you know. Party Pack, Bates, Martin Allen, Mr. Strawberry. They want to blow up the Van Allen belts now. Aye. You're in for a game, Pandemonium, excellent. So hopefully we'll get a few takers on the poker. I'm a Gemini. Jez, Colshy Cats, how you doing? Maggie M, how you doing? Jibby Jedi. Flat Earth data. I've never seen a picture of the North Pole from Zenith. Beyond belief, are you understanding what I'm saying? No. I've seen a video, supposedly, of a hole there. It looks as if it's got some sort of vortex going on, going into this hole, but it's just a video. Phil Jones, Walter William, John, I think he's making these names up so it's hard for me to say. Skrzydlik. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right. Austin, XP. Right. I'll come back. You can ask me questions in a minute. I'm going to see any requests we've got here in the... These nuts, Jubilee hit piece video. I've researched the three so-called scientists. Ali Mediuri is not even a registered teacher at Irvine University as a physicist. James Underdown, Glasses and Catman, he is a paranormal investigator only. And Spencer is also only a paranormal investigator. Well, just shows you. Cheers for that, these nuts. Just shows you. Again, this is all I've got. Because I highly doubt any real practical scientist, somebody that's actually interested in objective reality, is going to step forward to defend curved oceans and, pressure systems existing in vacuums and all that gobbledygook. So they need to wheel these bufters out. Oh, hey, a light-hearted video for you to watch if you want. I'm going to chat for a while and love your street interviews. Here's a light-hearted fun video for you to watch that was trending on YouTube. It's about the schooling system, and I think it illustrates the absurdity of the experience for teenagers, but in a light-hearted way. I don't know about you, but when I was in school, I hated every minute of it. Of course, I think the majority hated every minute of it, but again, that's part and parcel of what I was talking about. Oh, do you like getting up at 6 in the morning and going to your slave job? Do you like getting up at 6 in the morning to get ready to go to school? Would you hate it? No, we hate it. What the fuck are you doing it for then? Because we need to, it's life. That's what we were told, so I'm just doing what everybody else is doing, huh? Great wee cult disciples. Cheers, man. I'll check that video out. I'm not going to watch it right now, obviously. Pico. Right. Oops, nearly fucking stuck it in there. Right, I'm back. Just give me a shout. If anybody's run about, you can give me a shout, and if I'm not busy, I can come and say hello. Right. So this will come to the realisation you're part of the eternal, the infinite. People still have questions, and what's your role within that? When you die, you're still going to have a consciousness? Are you still going to be aware? I think people, equate consciousness to their persona, to the person that they formulated. You weren't that person at birth. The only thing you were was an observer. That's it. For me, that's the aspect of you that is your essence. The rest of it is your attachments to this physical reality and what you've experienced. But people can't trace back the steps to remove, where they've attached themselves. I don't know where I was going there with that either. Forget. Must be something there, I think. Maybe I'm Joan or something. Nah, I'll probably give the DMT another bash at some point, highway child. This is where they can, confuse people and take you on a tangent. You need to have a raw fuck you stance. I know accepting man's bullshit. We need to know the room. I don't want a comfort blanket. Don't care. I'm not interested in it. Again, forget where I was going. I've not even had a proper smoke yet. I used to stop listening to the man in the shed. I know. You better go and stick on BBC One or something and watch some other tat. Is it any different, really? There can't be any new people waking up to this. Effie is so old now. Okay, if by 2020, if you still need evidence you're not a hurtling ball ape, then you definitely need your head examined. I want to say that, Baron Bronskevich. I think it's one of these things. It's a buffer period. And again, there's so much misinformation and confusion, psyops going on that it slows the whole progress down. If I go back to 5 years ago and to what it is now, it's totally different. As I spoke about this before, the advertising campaign was done years ago. It's in the consciousness of people. The problem is now is the articulation of the actual points. It's trying to target and get people into a logical, rational point, so that they're not appealing to consensus or listening to propaganda, Simon Dans and all these fucking Neil deGrasse dipshits, all this stuff. People need to be discerning for themselves. That's the only way they're going to know and come to an understanding. You're never going to get I can sit here and tell you everything about guitar. Not that I know everything. I could tell you what I know about guitar, but that's not going to help you until you take the steps to play with it practically, have the experience, and then you've got an informed understanding of what it was I was talking about. So, and it was a shock back then, Baron Bronskevich, but again, you've got to take that for your own subjectivity. What's that noise? Mate, there's loads of noise going on. What's that? Can you hear me?
I'm just trying.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you hear me?
Aye, it's really loud and like hissing. It's like kind of.
Ah, fuck, it'll be my computer. I'll come back in. Is it better? Or still bad?
No, it's still. Your volume's really loud as well. You're really. Aye, so you've got to remember, for us back then it was really raw, and you need to remember how you felt. And you become used to that, and you become accustomed to it, and you take a lot of things for granted, and then you start to think, oh, nothing's happening, because we're at a point where we want things to progress even further. But we're still waiting in the majority, we're still waiting in the hordes of people coming to that. So it's frustrating. And then we can start to get downhearted about it, and we can start to make statements like that, oh, it's not getting anywhere and nothing's happening, and I go through it every day. There's times I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, when are we going to get anywhere with this? But I've just got to compose myself, and as I said at the beginning, learning patience was one of the biggest aspects for me, because I'm one of the guys that when I want something done, it's got to be done. When I put my attention to something, I want it done yesterday. So with this, it was no different, and I had to learn very quickly that it's just not going to happen like that. And I remember saying to myself, a couple of years, now we're 5 years down the road. So, anyhow. all this ISS stuff. I see it coming up, and sometimes I feel like I'll go live and I'll highlight this and that, but it's just fucking boring. You know, I watch these dipshits, and then I watch Donald Trump phoning the ISS and giving it the big fucking rehearsed speech, and it's all about morale building and you know, trying to keep people and the you know, buying the product, or it's really real and all this fuck. It's just total and utter garbage. You know, they're no in fucking space. Space isn't a vacuum. Whatever they're up to, it's not what you think it is, and they're depicting the Earth to you in a way that's totally absurd. So, you know, I lose the will to live when I see these things. Although sometimes I think, oh, I better highlight this, but I can't be fucked. I just end up swearing at them, telling them they're a bunch of fucking morons. But these latest ones that are showing you, if you watch clearly, you know, like watching the two women yesterday, you know, and oh, way to galvanise the women. Oh, look at us now, it's two women. Oh, it's our first, two women on their first spacewalk. So now the women, oh yeah. And I heard it on the radio, this divvy fucking woman, Mylene Class or whatever her fucking name is. Oh, I'm so proud of these women and this and that. Fuck off. You don't even fucking know them. You've never been to that vantage point. You don't even know if it's fucking real. But these fucking arse sniffers all through the media, perpetuating it, trying to galvanise people, reaffirming that it's really real and it's good and all this crap. If you really watch the footage closely, you can see the shimmer. You can see the shimmer on certain colours. You can see that they're in water. It's just a big fucking joke. And every aspect to this whole heliocentric globe nonsense now, it's just laughable. It's painfully obvious, and I really feel pity and sorry for these people that are desperately clinging to it. Although I understand why they're clinging to it. They've attached themselves to it. They've made it relevant, they've made it important, they've attached themselves to some belonging, some certainty. They've grew into adulthood reaffirming it continually. And it's no easy for these people just to let that go. I cringe every time I see any of it now. I see listening to that Trump dude, and you know, and they sit there, Trump, and he's got his daughter, and then they've got this row of women behind him, and they always do that. That's to subliminally tell you that they've got the backing of the people, and that they're supported, and that they're good and all this fucking stuff. I mean, all these tactics, it bores me as well. I don't know why people don't see through it. It's all NLP, it's all hypnotic, you know, traits and tricks that they're using. And it's boringly, painfully fucking obvious to the point that it's that cringy, I want to eat the back of my fucking chair and hide. You know, I'm seeing fucking morons, you know, they've pumped it out as a product. I mean, there's morons running about with NASA on their fucking jumpers. I feel like running up and fucking poking them in the eyes when I see them in the street. But it's funny, because these morons that are running about with their fucking religious emblems and symbols are sitting on a high horse thinking that they're, hey, look at these religious peoples that think there's a sky daddy and all that, oh, they're beneath me. Why? Because you're fucking very intellectual. You believe you live on an absurdity. You believe you live on a concept. And the people that are perpetuating the bullshit and lies to you, you're walking about proudly displaying their fucking logo. Cretins. Total and utter fucking lunatics. What's happening here? Aye, my attention's on the chat box. Anybody get anything to say? You know, talking about fucking free advertising for a product. Huh? People buy fucking Nike. I don't know about fucking freely advertising. Reaffirming to everybody, this is the trendy product. This is the stuff you want. This is the stuff you buy. This is what you need. Look, I'm wearing it. Hey. Oh, you're an individual. You bought one that's bright orange with a green tick. Oh, you're special. You're fucking brilliant. So imagine the victims are some fucking, like fucking Fred West and fucking Rosemary West. Imagine the victims with them running about with t-shirts, Fred and Rose, forever, yeah. That's basically what people are doing when they're putting NASA on their fucking shirts. Oh, I'm proud of my captivity. I'm proud of being oppressed and ruled over. Yeah, I'm a happy slave, and look, I'm displaying it. Look at me. These people are wonderful. They're at the cutting edge of human endeavour and human exploration. They're fucking talking shite. The only thing you ever get from them is fucking interviews from fucking 2-year-olds. What's your favourite colour? Oh, that's a very good question. Well done. My favourite colour is blue. What do you miss most about being in the ISS? Oh, that's another great question. What I miss most is sticking my thumb up my bum and playing the PlayStation all day. Yes, we're up here doing science. Science. Yes, well, we're formulating better tyres, isn't it? Lap it up. Lap it up. Never experienced curvature. Everything they're showing me is a total absurdity and contrary to my experience, but fuck it. Fuck it. Because I'm going on holiday next week. And I might get my hole night. And I fancy that wee bird down there. And I need to get more money so I can impress them. And I want to be famous and... Oh aye, human beings are fucking special, alright. It's human trafficking. There's so many fucking horrors in this reality, honestly. Again, earlier I was watching something that came up. I've always been kind of studying psychopathy, and some of these fucking people and some of the things that they've done, it's just astounding. And you can trace it back and say, well, were they victims of circumstance, and maybe there's a trait that you can, but some of it you're just like, nah, I just can't. There's no rational explanation for any of it. There's no rational explanation for this existence in the first place. What the fuck put this into motion? What the fuck was it thinking? What the fuck are we actually a part of here? And what the fuck are you doing running about shouting the odds that it's wonderful, Mother Nature, it's special, oh, we need to keep progression and survival of the species, what, so you can perpetuate suffering? You complete and utter fuckstick. We need to save that wee animal that gets munched off of that animal just because it's good to survive. Maybe the fucking thing's fed up of getting fucking ate from the arsehole to the earhole. Maybe it's sick of it. Maybe it doesn't want to exist in this fucking shithole place anymore. Then you can run along with your fucking messiah delusions. Oh, we need to save it. We need to save it. Fuck off. We'll call it Mother Nature because then it's like, we can attach to it because it's like a nurturing, motherly love type thing. Even your mother's fed up with you. Her fucking nipples are red raw. Fanny is like a fucking polythene bag stretched to fuck. You're hanging off her nipple. Oh, it's wonderful, it's beautiful. You sure? Are you fucking sure about that? You're so negative, Dale. You're looking at, you're so cynical. You're looking at life from a negative point of view. Am I? Am I missing something? Never mind all the delusions and your false certainty and safety of your wee civilization. What if I go and fucking drop you in the middle of the fucking Amazon fucking jungle? You gonna fucking tell me it's beautiful then? Huh? I highly fucking doubt it. Or I'll stick you up a fucking mountain in the middle of a fucking, a desert or a fucking, snow-filled fucking place. Then you can come back and it's wonderful. Get fucked. Your civilizations and your wee false security is blinding you to the very nature of the reality that you're a part of here. You can shield yourself away from it all you fucking like with all your fucking nonsense. It's not going to change it. It's not going to stop people from me fucking pointing it right out to you either. As I've said so many times, there's aspects that I value. Very few and far between. My connection and my interaction to other sentience is probably the only thing that I value about this shithole. That's it. The rest of it, couldn't give a fuck. Seriously, I would switch it off. Right, Gazelle, you don't need to suffer anymore. I've switched off the Gazelle frequency. No more gazelles. Right, you cunt. I'm switching you off, wee spider that crawls up the arsehole and lays fucking eggs. You're switched off now and all. Right, you cunt. I'm switching you up. That's what I would do. I wouldn't sit there going, that's wonderful, that's beautiful. Like a fucking moron. Because only a psychopathic cockstain would think it was fucking beautiful. I think the majority have been fucking roped into Stockholm Syndrome yet again of regurgitating these mantras. Life's a gift. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Oh, really? Where did you get that information from? Did you manage to escape this reality, to see it as a whole and understand the whole process of it, to come back to a formulated opinion to tell me that it's wonderful and beautiful? No, you fucking did not. I think you're just shit scared, pushing and shiting your wee pants because you don't know what the fuck's going on. But rather than face up to it, you just want to say delusional shite. I'll just cherry pick and say it's beautiful. So I don't need to take responsibility. Right, whatever. Anyway, I keep digressing. Sorry about that. Lo and behold, nobody wants to talk to me. Wonder why. You big cynical, negative, sceptical bastard. A look out? Oh, thanks. Thank you very much. Sure it's not a lighting? I appreciate your concern. Yeah. Tell us an actor like the rest of YouTube, huh? Aye? When am I getting my fucking Academy Award? In the millions? It's just my fucking luck. I might be a bit famous now, but the fortune never fucking followed it. You always hear that, fame and fortune, fame and fortune. Well, I'm a bit famous now. Well, the fortune never came with it. Just my fucking luck. So, if you think I'm an actor, get me nominated for something that might bring me some shekels. You complete and utter cock sniffer, you. Alright, mate.
Aye, is that any better?
Aye, it's
Aye,
it was just like a background kind of.
Aye. It was just the microphone was on full. Just had to test it in Skype and stuff.
No,
I was just thinking, one of the things I wanted to ask was just how this infinite and eternal. Like, although I've heard you saying it like multiple times, I don't think I fully understand like what that what it means. Like, um,
Well,
another thing is this like have you ever seen those Boston Dynamic robots where they're doing all this development and they're pushing the robot and
aye.
like this is as advanced as
I
the
see. I seen it.
engineers and stuff you get,
I seen it
and then
years.
you get like us, like we're way more advanced than that, and they
Aye.
just put it down like this occurring naturally. It's crazy. Like,
Aye, I know it's all that stuff for me. It's all reverse engineered, same as all tech. It has to come from some aspect of the reality so that you can, reverse engineer and take aspects of it and then produce it on a micro scale. But we get back to the eternal and the infinite thing. It's for me. I arrived at that. Dealing with philosophy and talking about our existence. It's very difficult for me to accept some finite aspect. Because you're always at the same point. Well, if you're going to say, right, just for talk's sake, the reality, has a finite beginning and then it comes to an end. That beginning, something with a beginning and an end has to be taking place somewhere. Do you get what I mean? So,
yeah, but
so the
the
universe.
I was going to say the fact that we don't know that there was a start and that we don't know that there is an end doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. But if I entertain these ideas of a beginning and an end, something with a beginning and an end has to be taking place somewhere. You must accept that because something with a beginning and an end doesn't just take place nowhere. It has to be somewhere. So then you're back to the Russian doll within a Russian doll scenario. Well, if this finite thing with a beginning and an end must be taking place somewhere, so what's the somewhere then? Is the somewhere then finite? But then if it's got a beginning and an end, you're still in the same position. Well, it must be somewhere. So it's an infinite regress back again to Russian doll within a Russian doll infinitely.
yeah, but then if it doesn't have a start and it doesn't have an end, does that then translate to it's not taking place somewhere, or that it's because surely that's still.
Thank you, boy. Sorry, mate.
That's fine. Well, if it is infinite, then does that then mean that it's not taking place somewhere? Like how?
Well,
what's that saying?
when you're talking about reality, you're talking about three-dimensional physical reality.
Yeah, just what we experience. Yeah.
Aye, well, three-dimensional physical reality, as I've said before, that either it is infinite itself, or physicality is finite, but it's encompassed by something infinite and eternal that permeates it, that flows through it, that gave rise to it. Although we maybe can't experience it or access it right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's just no an avenue I can go where I can see, something comes to a finite end when we're talking about these bigger pictures, because you're always back at the same problem again. If it's finite, it's happening somewhere, so where's the fucking somewhere? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Last time I spoke to you, you spoke about that. I always forget his name, man. You forgot his name when you mentioned it the last time. But do you speak Venusian? I had seen it before, and it's like all these other ones. They go into it and they tell the truth, and then at the end they wrap up by like showing the craziest person and trying to leave that impression in people's head. It's like any news story that you see. They tell the truth and they disclose some facts, but then they sort of end it to get that lasting impression in people's heads by making it look crazy.
Yeah.
Like I watched, I don't know if you've seen Joey Cabstrong. I don't know if it's he's that vegan. Like he does a lot of good activism. He appeared on a UK TV show and fucking he handled himself so well. But then at the end they just sort of wrapped it up and tried to leave that impression in people's heads that that vegans are terrorists, or there's this vegan terrorist thing happening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Well, it's funny that they say that though, because recently I'm seeing in mainstream that they're talking about climate change, and some of the aspects of climate change is that we need to eat less meat and yada yada. So I don't know if I'm getting a really bad echo.
sorry.
Sorry, I don't know if it's you. Hello? You hear me? Aye. So, I mean, I don't know about that. I've not looked into it enough. But aye, it's always the same. You know, whatever slant they want to put on it, they'll always try and leave that as the last bit for the lasting impression. It's just one of the tricks, you know. Again, it's come back to what I was saying earlier. I'm just bored of their wee psychology tricks and their old hat bullshit. It's just boring, you know, and I wish people would just break out of it and point at it and laugh at it for the absurdity that it is, you know.
Aye. It's hard though because they've got such control over the media and marketing. Um, yeah, but not to say that it's futile, but because that's another thing. You see people coming on and just try to dissuade people from participating because it's yeah. But what was the other thing I wanted to mention? What was it? I was in the shower. I always have these revelations in the shower. I don't know. Maybe I'm in there too long or something.
Right.
But what it's like is people that you're talking to about this, you're telling them like, do you trust the government? And they're like, no. Do you realise that NASA's a government organisation? You tell them all these things that they can say that they don't trust, but then when you try and give them some information, like you should look into this a bit more, they sort of gamble. It's like gambling. They're happy to not look into it any further, even though there's strong evidence to say that there's something fucking serious going on, but they just want to gamble and like take their chances that somebody's telling the truth. And it's like, you realise you're gambling. That's an issue. Like,
Yeah, it's the apathy. It's the apathy of people. They're just willing to put their faith and their trust into, you know, authorities and whoever else. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it sounds bad.
It's probably going to have asthma. Fucking probably vaccine soon. What was that thing? One second. Sick. Aye, the guy that you were talking to in the street about visual, and he was adamant that visual, that light would be coming in that way, regardless of whether there was an observer or like. Do you remember that guy you were talking to?
Aye.
The one. Well, what he was saying is like technically correct. Like if you set up a pinhole camera, you would have the light and the visual or the vision coming in the same way that your eye perceives it, kind of thing. But what he's failing to understand is that all of these devices are set up to mimic what the eye's doing.
Of course.
Like, we're not. I know. So he's failing to see that.
Of course.
Like, your camera's set up the way that the eye works, like so that
so.
we can get a representation of what we see. We're hardly going to set up a device that's like a fucking shark, like pointing its eyes out the way.
They always want to omit the you know, when we were talking about, you know, visible phenomena, we'll have to be looking at the eye because, you know, like the floor we're pointing, the floor ramping up, you know, the sky coming down, like these things are not happening physically. So we're having to look then at what's going on with the eye. It was just a blind refusal to accept. It's almost like he didn't want to give me any credibility, you know, or any accept anything that what I was saying to him was true and that we have to look at it. It was just, no, I've got a bias and I'm just going to waffle crap. Well, regardless of how stupid I look, I'm just going to keep waffling the crap so that I can maintain my ego.
And it wasn't just that. He was trying to convince you that like you were completely delusional and that he had it all worked out.
I know.
And you were trying to say, look, the reverse is. And what I've been thinking as well, like everybody walks about and they go out and they see the horizon on the ocean and they all think that's normal and that's the curve of the earth, like this is Earth and it's a ball. But when you think about it, if Earth was a fucking globe, everything would look so fucking different. Everything would be. I can't even perceive what it would look like. You would look out and like the buildings would be like pointed at different angles, and you would turn your head and like buildings would start to come up to be level, and that one there would pop away, and like people just. No, it's because it's. And when you try to point it out, they think, "Oh, that's crazy," but that's really what things would do if it was a fucking ball. It's just that you've never seen it, you don't know.
Exactly.
And I've never seen it, but what I'm thinking about is, like, I think it was one of the guys that's now a part of that fucking Global tour, is it Rob Skiba? He did the thing with the ships, and then he introduced the waves, and he did like a graphical thing where if the ship's further out and there's like a 1 meter wave, it's sort of with the angle of resolution, it covers the whole ship.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what application it was he was using to do that, but
Yeah.
I've been trying to just to, it seems as though you need to try and show a representation like what things would look like to present to people so that they then believe, because people have this thing where they need to see it for themselves to believe.
They're so used to seeing two-dimensional images on a screen, you know, that they're not paying attention to their vision and how they actually view the world and what's actually going on. They've taken all these things for granted. Plus, you know, they're being stimulated continually by the mainstream education, mainstream media, you know, these images that they're seeing and yada yada. They're not paying attention to their own being and what they're actually experiencing and asking questions of that. So that's always part and parcel of the problem. And if they're not paying attention to that, then the authority can just come in and dictate to them what's actually going on. And it's back to the apathy again. Well, I'm too lazy, I'm too distracted with everything else, so I don't see the relevance in paying attention to that, so I'll just believe what they're telling me. Do you know what I mean?
I completely agree. I mean, that's one of the things as well. Like, when you're told about how fast it's spinning, and for a long time, I mean, I never fully believed it, but I tried to wrap my head around it. Like, if that's the case, what would it be like? And I even went as far, and just before I get into this, I was going to get one of those. It's like you've got the Earth, and then you've got the arms that come out, and the objects are sort of spinning around it, and you could probably battery operate it and show you what the representation. And I wanted to have something like that physical, so I could see it for myself and wrap my head around it, because it ends up you try and wrap your head around it, like, oh, that's too hard, and I won't look into it further. I'll just believe it.
That's it.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about us being unorganised and them being organised. They've had plenty of time to prepare. Their lies are laid out, you know. They know how to hit the points of the lies and the bullshit. You know, and again, we're coming in, people are asking all sorts of questions. They're dragging in aspects of the paradigm that they're waking up to, bringing it into this new point of questioning and trying to resolve their understanding based on, you know, carried over assumptions, particularly about luminaries and stuff like that. You know, they're still maintaining the vacuum of space, three-dimensional spheres rotating about each other, and they're trying to reason with this new question and answer the questions based on the assumptions that they've carried forward. Do you know what I mean? So it's difficult. But
anyway.
Aye.
I just thought that whole thing, when you try and point out to people, like, it's how advanced we are. We can create TV screens and we can create cameras, but nothing. They haven't been able to come close to recreating how the eye works and how the eye sees, or putting like an LCD screen or 3D, even like 3D goggles. They can't reproduce these things. But then, even this Boston Dynamics, this is like the height of technology, and they've got a robot that, like, it can do limited things. It's battery operated, and like it can go out and climb in the snow and stuff.
Well, I seen years ago, when I was, you know, my research. Years ago, I seen one, and it was they were formulating robots for like the military, and the early ones I seen, they looked like kind of cows. You know, it looked like a Saigon, you know, barrel with the top cut off it, and it was basically to put the stuff in. And they were showing you that, you know, it was waddling along, and the guy was booting it, and it was just kind of going to the side. It could maintain its balance. And
have you not seen the more recent ones? They've got a robot that's like fully two-legged, and it does all the exact same stuff. It can do like backflips.
Yeah.
You can push it, and you can let it pick up like heavy weights and push it. And,
Aye. Some of the stuff's good. I mean, this is the thing, you know, people are scared of this. They talk about AI, and I'm like, well, no, you know, the arduous tasks, the mundane bullshit that people are partaking in. Why not have robots doing it? You know, it's like, oh, that robot's taking my job at the cashier. What, do you want to sit fucking at a supermarket fucking cashiers 12 hours a fucking day? I highly doubt it.
I know, but the thing is as well, like that's because that's the thing they talk about. Like in the past, you had horses, and there was like hundreds of horses, and horses were doing things, and then horses became redundant.
Yeah.
So now there's not as many horses, and it would be the same with humans. Like if you automate all these jobs, then you're not going to need as many humans. But
I know, but
yeah, I mean,
but that's to say that humans are a commodity just for work. You know,
exactly.
what about the aspects of us being creators and being creative artistics? You know, then we can progress, then we're no stress, then who knows what the fuck we could come up with and what we could actually achieve without all the stress, you know, all the shackles. So,
I mean, you go to work, you go to work and you come home and you make your dinner and you look after the kids and like you've got little time and energy to do anything, and it's all part of the.
That's it.
But yeah. Anyway, I'll let you go off and I'll go off and give him some breakfast.
No worries, mate. Cheers.
But yeah, that's the main things I want to point out. But yeah, the that Boston Dynamics stuff. This is the height of what they can do, technology, but none of it comes close to what we are, and nobody can see. Nobody seems to see or realise that the complexity of us. It's just because it happens naturally. Like it's crazy.
You're never going to make a robot conscious. You're never going to get a soul. It's never going to understand emotion. It's never, you know, a robot can't attend to your child. It doesn't know what the child, you know, they can get through programs, but you as a human being, you know, you've got a different thing with your child. There's a different metaphysical, you know, connection that's there that a robot's just never going to have. They can't achieve it, regardless of what they shout. Oh, we can transfer consciousness into fuck off. You don't even know what consciousness is. You don't even know why we sleep. You don't know nothing. You know.
That was a fucking brilliant thing you pointed out. Like I didn't really think about it. You were saying I go to bed and I sleep and I wake up and I don't ask to wake up. It just happens. It's like I didn't really think about it, but it's crazy. But these things, it's as if we're getting with these technological advancements. They're getting closer and closer. And like, is it something where it's going to get to a point where it becomes similar to us and they have this realisation that, or maybe this is how what happened with us, we became, because essentially we are fucking like machines. There's no doubt about it.
I mean, but for me there's a separation. There's a metaphysical aspect to my being. You know, I can't pull emotions out, I can't pull memories out, I can't pull any of that stuff out and show you it physically. And I think with regards to robotics and that, they can only mimic mechanical aspects. They can input so much data to mimic certain behaviours and certain characteristics, but it's all programmed by a human. You know, so I think for me we're something totally different. But not to say that that's not what's happened with us. Maybe, you know, I've spoke about this before. You know, maybe we were you kind of automatons, and you know, you're just here to have this kind of experience, and for whatever reason, whatever circumstance, we formulated this analytical aspect. I mean, there's so many possibilities. I wouldn't just poo-poo it and rule any possibility out, but because we really don't know. But I highly doubt that a human being can mimic consciousness and create consciousness to the way we understand it to be. Do you know what I mean? It's totally different.
Have you heard that? I can't remember where I heard it, but there was. I mean, when you said there was a study done, who knows whether that's fucking lies as well. But when they said that they've read people's brain patterns, and when they're sort of recalling memories, they can't locate the region of the brain that's responsible for that. So it gives that there's been like suggestions that they're pulling it from fucking like a shared memory store.
Well, that's. You've got guys like Rupert Sheldrake and Richard Penrose and all these different people who've got different. They talk about consciousness, memory, not being local to the physicality, and whatever else. But a lot of that stuff for me, it's like they're trying to correlate. A part of the brain lighting up. That's no causation. They're not getting to the nuts and bolts of what's actually going on. Just because you can see a part lighting up or a part being stimulated, it doesn't give you any further understanding into what's actually going on. What is a memory? What is sleeping? What is consciousness? What is emotion? You don't know what any of that stuff is.
No. Anyway, I'll get off. I mean, at the moment I'm just I'm looking into my electronics and trying to get a better understanding and magnetism, and one of the things that's just crazy, you get like a little magnet and you put it next to a compass and it'll turn the needle head.
Yeah.
Yet there's this massive fucking magnetic pole somewhere.
So they say. So they say.
That will attract it. That'll pull the compass needle head like in the direction from wherever you are in this fucking plane. Yet nobody's like, oh, we should go there and see what's actually there that's causing this kind of thing, or like it's. How do people? You can just show them. Look at this little. I've got a magnet here. It pulls this compass. I let it go, and it goes back to this thing. Do you not wonder what that fucking thing is that's causing that? Like, nah. We won't bother going there and having a look. Like,
that's it. X Factor zone. Fuck that. You're too deep. You're fucking too deep. You.
Alright, mate. If I speak to you again, I'll get off, man, because I've been on for a while and I'll be boring people. But yeah, I'll speak to you again soon, mate.
Fuck what anybody thinks. Fuck what other people think, mate.
That's all good, man. That's all. Alright, thanks very much for letting us on, mate. The last time I was on the phone, so I've got the webcam set up in the office. I had to tidy the office up a bit. That's why I was a bit and I'll show you the mess.
Nice one, mate.
Oh, I broke it.
Oh, wait. Cheers for coming on anyway, mate. I don't know why the rumpus and fucking Skyfly that are still fucking messing me. Where you go, you pair of wee fucking wallopers. You've got nothing to offer, you're a pair of delusional dipshits. Now fuck off. Yeah, Laurie. Hi, I too am from Scotland and I watched you basically from the beginning with your bold face-to-face random show interviews. My friend introduced me to your channel. We would debate flat earth and other truth secrets every minute we were with each other. If the earth is flat, it changes everything. I spent all my years fascinated by space and astronomy to one day be awoke to the flat earth. I don't believe the earth is a globe, neither do I believe it's flat. The only way I can tell is if we see it with our own eyes, which is impossible for the average human. And again, you have to ask the question, is it possible to get a vantage point to see the whole thing? Again, this is these assumptions that people have because of the globe on the TV. They think there's a vantage point where you can see the whole thing. Where are people getting that? So, my point in this message is that if we as human beings really care about who we are, where we come from and what is reality, and what is the truth, flat earth is enough to send you over the edge. Sometimes I would ask myself if I was going crazy. My friend and I felt like we had become black sheep people. Look at us as being crackpots because we inform them of flat earth evidence. But it's always the same when you know something's out with the norm. People are always viewed as black sheep. This happens with many trends through the ages if you look at it. You know, there's many trends that you could point at where people say, crazy's black sheep, and then it became trendy, it became acceptable, and then it became part of the norm. It's just the way it always is. We will never find out the truth unless we see for ourselves what the true shape is. Exactly. This is why we need the exploration. I admire your approach to enlightening your views on this subject, but as a truth seeker myself, I don't think we will ever find the truth, although I hope I am wrong. Peace, Laurie. Well, each to their own, Laurie. You know, everybody's got different reasons, but I've just got determination. You know, as I've said before, like a dug with a bone. Once I get my teeth into it, I'm not letting it go. And again, you know, it's like, how do I put myself back into hypnotic trance and just accept, you know, delusion till I die? It's difficult for me to accept that. So, everybody's different. I've always got fucking trolls in these chats and showing up later, you know, once things are byway. It's the same old fucking boring crap. They're just pathetic and weak. This is all I've got now. Because they can't have direct communication and discussion because they're dishonest, lying little cretins. They know that I can see right through it. They know I know every aspect of their bullshit and I can pull it apart immediately. So, this is all they're left with now. They're pathetic. Still getting people coming to my comment section asking me about pressure gradients. What a bunch of fucking morons. Stop being lazy. Pressure gradient is a weight of measure. It's a measure of weight. As you go up the column, like if you had a pile of fucking bricks, many times I need to point this out to you. Put your weight measuring device at the bottom of the column of bricks. Now put your weight measuring device up the top with a thin slice of a brick onto your measuring device. It's probably going to read nothing. Does that mean there's no bricks there? You complete and utter fud. Look at this, Sean Hawkins. We've got them all in now, all the fucking desperate crack fucking addicts. All the creepy weirdos coming out the woodwork. You've no got what it takes. You're a weak spastic hiding in the comment section. Away and make hit piece videos and display for me your utter weakness. I've said it before, you can impress the chaff all you like, but you know the man sits here laughing at you, laughing at your weakness. Because I don't need other people to define me. I don't need other people's acceptance. And that's what your problem is. I'm too strong for you. You are the weak, I am the strong. Now, toddle off and display some more clownery for me to point at and hysterically laugh at you. Chop chop. Again, you got to point out, they come to me. They come with their wee jester suit and their wee clown shoes on, making a big song and dance. Because the individual man sees their bullshit and it threatens them. Sorry lads, you made your own bed. It's not my fault you're weak as fuck. Instead of biting at my ankles for attention, you might want to take some leaves out my book, better yourself, grow a set, and then I might look at you with a bit of respect. Until then, you shall remain a snivelling little rodent, biting at my ankles with your gumsy mouth, because all your teeth fell out because you're a crack addict. So trying to bite my ankles is pointless as well. The only thing you're doing is leaving a slobbering mess that I need to walk through. You never came here to laugh at anything, son. You can try and reverse it all you like. You come here dancing for me. That's what you do. Come here dancing. Because I'm a threat to your wee insecure nonsense. Aye, I've watched Bill Geed gleam. I've left messages in his comments. The guy's a dishonest cretin. Pure and simple. Total dishonest moron. Gravity, just ask them questions about their notions of direction and weight and then tear it apart. You don't need to run about saying gravity doesn't exist, gravity's not real. Just question their concepts of what they think's going on. And if you do that and you know how to do it, you can expose the total absurdity. And ask them, keep asking them, does the way in which objects fall define the shape of the earth? Does it give you measurable proof of the shape of the earth? And then watch them fumble and dance even more with their two left feet. Right, new requests, so we'll have a laugh, we'll have a fucking open. What's going on here? Aye, no worries, Trevor, son, no worries. Aye. Oh no, what am I going to do? Faceless Gimpoid, he's slating me, he's trying to psychologically make me feel inferior. Dance, cunt. Dance like you've never danced before. It'll never be enough. You'll need to go and rob wee old grannies again. Buy yourself some new dancing shoes if you don't spend it in crack before that. It's always strictly come dancing, Tony. They're perpetually dancing. Certainly is, Elisa. Fuck Trevor. Fuck him. They could come in here if they'd any cojones, but they've not got any. Just another display. There you go, cock snuffers. There you go. Chop chop. Right, what was getting talked about here? Well, that's what they always come out with it, you know, you can't see it, therefore it's no real. Nobody says that. Nobody here's ever said that. I can't see here, so therefore here's no real. It's just their bullshit. They're trying to attach straw men to people. As I say, it's just another sign of their weaknesses. It's all they've got. If you're wanting a one-to-one, you need to send me an email. Other than that, I'll just keep posting the link directly into the chat box. If you want to join me, you can just click that link if that's easier for you. That's it, that's what it is. Theoretical, abstract mental gymnastics. That's what the globe, heliocentrism, fucking existential storylines. They're all pissing in the wind. Trying to hold the masses, direct them, keep them weak, because really they're weak. And they need that upper hand. They need to cheat people. They need to blind them from the off because they're too weak. They've got to rig the game from the off. So they can't play a fair game. They don't know how to. Because they know they would just get trampled. Maybe that's what they're scared of. Being insignificant. Maybe they're scared of being insignificant. It's a wee shame. A wee shame. I did them. I don't want them off the Lisa. It's good having clowns about. You need jesters. They've all failed. Total failures. Right, is anybody got anything to say? Let me just shut that one down. Hang on. I'll shut that and I'll start another one up just in case. Shit. No, of course I'm not going to show. I've not got anything. Apart if you try to disrupt. Right, I'll give it 5 minutes. The demise of FE, you know, this. We've been hearing all that shite for years. Oh, it's going to go away. Wishful thinking. All these mantras. Wishful thinking. It's going to go away. It's going to die. It's no. Sorry. You know, I'm new to this. Can I ask what do you think is beyond the horizon? So to say, beyond the ice. Huh? I don't know. What's out there? Angry Buddha. I'm certainly not going to believe military guys on TV telling me stuffs. I don't know what's out there. Let's go and find out. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Andrew. The globe should be looked back at as a fucking absolute joke. A lesson in stupidity is what it should be. A lesson in ignorance, stupidity, apathy. No, it's not going back in the bag, best ever vids. That's exactly right. It never went in any bag. They just like to try and make out that it did. It never went in a bag. It's never went away.
What you doing, my man?
How's it going, mate?
Aye, sound. People know trapping again, eh?
Aye, whatever.
Send my greetings from Glenn. I had a big talk with him this morning. From
Nice one.
Orbic Fucker from down under.
Yeah, nice one. Hope
Aye.
he's watching. Hello, mate.
Send his regards. Right?
Aye. What's happening?
Well, not at all. Caught up with me today, so I never had time to too much. But I was listening in. I
Right.
must say, sometimes I can sit here and be quite selfish, even though I should be more active, Dale, and just listen to you ripping right into them, you know. But yeah, I thought I'd jump on since nobody else wants to talk.
Aye. Right, we're all running away. Come into the chat box as usual. You know, it's always the same crap. Yeah.
Yep.
But nobody can say that I'm no fair. Don't offer the opportunity for them, you know. So they can run about shouting echo chambers, or whatever. You know.
Well, they've got nothing to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I like the young lad with the wee boy. He's got a awful bad cough there, but
So,
Yeah, I'm sure. But one of the things that he pointed out was, and you've said it enough times, is this idea of looking at some of the absurdities that they tell us and actually taking it to an extreme, right? And actually thinking through what it would actually mean if it was the way they tell it, you know? So, one of the things that I always think about is the difference between ratios and numbers, right? So everybody, I think, intuitively understands what a ratio is, but making a number out of it in some scale or unit that men dream up, right, is something entirely different from that recognition, right? And the whole number thing is couched in a language, whereas the whole, being able to discern a ratio is part of your constitution. Let me give you an example everybody knows. So water in a container, right? Now everybody intuitively knows that if you widen the base, right, then the elevation will drop.
Yeah.
And the walls don't need to be as high. And everybody knows that if you put more in and it starts to flow out, oh fuck, I should make the walls higher, right?
Yeah.
So, and that intuitive understanding of a ratio by playing with practical substances, in your lived life, which is what we do with water, right?
Yeah.
Toilets, sinks, baths, tubs, you name it. That ratio is something that doesn't need a language to understand, right?
Yeah.
And a language, just to point out the difference between a natural science and a formal language like mathematics would take that and turn it into a number by making, some definitions and declarations and axioms and standards, right? And then turning that into a number which you're supposed to have a belief in.
Yeah.
And we tend not to think about these ratios. But, just imagine for 1 minute that if it wasn't part of your constitution, right? If this wasn't a kind of inborn thing, your ability to relate things and ratiocinate, to be able to discern and do things like count, imagine that you forgot it every day. Imagine it was like Groundhog Day and it wasn't built into you and you learned about it one day and then you forgot it the next day.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to live with water, without knowing these fundamental facts. You know what I mean? It would lead to an absurd way of life.
Yeah.
The same way living on the outside of a ball is an absurd way,
It's like that video. It's like that video I sent you with the guy, the mathematician. How it's a mathematical feat of genius headering the ball. And this guy's waffling on about mathematical fucking equations and all sorts, and it's like, no, there's a perfect example. Now, this is a human being who practically, played with their own body, the ball, the air, the flight of the ball, the motion of the ball, how to judge the speed, the height, how to time their jump, not by calculating it through a mathematical process, where through a practical application of everyday experience is how they achieved it. Then fuckstick comes along and starts trying to add all this fucking gobbledygook to it. Well, right, fine, we'll take somebody that's never played it before, give them your mathematical shite, and then I'm going to cross the ball into them from 35 fucking yards, and we'll see if that helps them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Total fucking nonsense.
Exactly. I imagine if you forgot how to cross the road every day and you needed a mathematical equation to help you decide,
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It's preposterous. Lived life would be impossible, right?
That's it.
And everything that we see and do and practically, living, and that's why, pouring your infamous video, pouring water on a ball, is just, again, one of the things I love, that, when people start to see the absurdity and they take it to an extreme, then not only do you get a bit more levity into the situation, which is always good to, calm down from the fucking situation we're in, but it also allows people to think through the rational arguments that are apparently being given to you and to dissect them, because they see it for what it is. They see the crap then for what it is.
That's it. And that's it. It's just constantly trying to say that to people. The reference of practicality and experience is first and foremost,
Yep.
And if you don't attend to that and accept that as your base, then you're going to get lost in the jargon, It's just
Absolutely.
going to confuse you,
Yep.
Oh.
Well, I mean, the confusion's there, you know. I mean, again, go back to the things that, you know, are important for people to make discernments of. You know, there's, as far as I'm concerned, there's kind of three kinds of objects. You've got physical objects, you know, like of substance. You've got visible objects, which we know change shape depending on the situation of, you know, the real thing in your eye.
Yeah.
And then you've got mental objects, which only exist in your head.
Yeah.
You know, like fantasies or voices speaking to you, right?
Yeah.
You know, because there's nobody speaking to you in that sense.
No,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
So, you know, these three different categories of objects, if people don't discern between these things and think that one is real and the other one's not,
Yeah.
and we know that they use visibles to bridge that gap between a mental act and believing that it's a physical thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's, these kind of things need to be, you know, really highlighted, and people need to understand them, you know. So,
exactly.
I forgot where I was going with that, but
no, I was just going to say I'm not sharing the screen because this is I've put this link in the chat. As soon as I screen share and show you there, I might jump in with a porn or some fucking thing. So I'm not doing that. Aye, but that's it. You know, it's, you know, there's so many examples of that. You know, I've showed the, you know, something like the TT, the Isle of Man. You know, these guys are racing on streets at fucking, you know, an average of something like 140, 50 mile an hour. You know, constantly, and if you watch it, the onboard cam, it's just a tunnel of fucking, you know. But again, these guys never sat out mathematically fucking trying to fucking establish all this stuff. It comes through practicality, you know.
Yep. Yeah, I always like the wall of death, you know, the guys that climb up the wall and go around the walls, you know. Exactly. I mean, they're just driving straight ahead, That's the only way you do that. Is just drive straight ahead. You know, they don't want to be looking and thinking about anything else than that, you know. Otherwise they'd fall down.
Oh, hold on a minute, mate, before you go on that motorbike. F equals M over A, vortex stuffs, you know what I mean? What the fuck are you talking about, you buffer? Just give me the fucking practical thing and I'll figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, the other thing I was thinking of was just, you know, the thoughts on religion. So I was actually reminding myself that I've got two things in common with people who are also, you know, whatever, traditional religious people, right?
Yeah.
And that's that, one, this is a creation of some sort, yeah? And secondly, none of us fucking made it. I know I didn't, and I know nobody else could have, right? But, so, you know, I've got that in common with them, but when they jump to telling me that within some book or whatever, there's a written language, right, that's supposed to convey the meaning of all this to me, then it's just impossible for me. Again, it would be kind of absurd for me to believe that that's the way an entity who could do all this would communicate with me, right? Exactly. Through some obscure method in a book, right? Using words, if he's capable of doing all this, you know.
Yeah. That's it.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but where it takes me. But
this is it. It's this again. The problem I see is that people are thinking about, you know, creator or creation in regards to meaning and purpose. You know, and I think that's where, for me, I see the problem. You know, we're living this life and people are trying to, you know, come up with some meaning that transcends the experience and somehow has a relevance or you know, has a continuation of their experience when they leave here. And, you know, there's all this kind of stuff going on. And that's where I think the problem is. You know, it's just easier for me. And I know it's simplified, but just like any other tech, any other thing, you just have it as the experience. The experience doesn't have to transcend the actual experience. Does that make sense? I mean,
it's kind of like now is all there is, right? There's nothing else other than the moment.
If it's a tech, it's an experience. You're only experiencing it. The problem is trying to attach meaning that transcends the experience. And I think that's tied in. It's kind of synonymous with the creator and what it wants, you know, but again, bringing meaning in that transcends the experience. And I think that's where it falls apart for me anyway, you know. Like, because again, it's that, you know, spoke about it again, we've mentioned it's repeating again, infinite, eternal. Okay, so your experience somehow is adding or taking away. I mean, that just doesn't jive. It's like your experience, you can only make a discovery of a potential or something that already existed because you're not making something new. Just like you said, we didn't make this. So then he then suggests that, you're making new stuff. Nah, you're only making discovery of the stuff that's already there.
And they're not even letting us do that properly.
Exactly.
You know? Or we're not getting up our arses to do it ourselves, you know. It's,
Aye.
yeah.
Aye.
No, spot on.
Aye, so... But it seems kind of cutting, like, you know, when you say these things, it puts an end to people's contemplations, and I don't mean to do that, because I still, you know, play with stuff. Obviously, you still contemplate and, you know, consider what may be going on. But when it comes down to it, I just have real difficulty, you know. And again, it's like, well, you didn't understand hot until you were cold. You didn't appreciate this until you didn't have it. Maybe it's the same with life. Maybe, you know, it's a possibility that you're not going to know it and what it was about until you're not a part of it anymore. You know, until you're without life. Do you know what I mean? And maybe that's just the way it is. I don't know. Fuck knows.
Alright.
Yeah.
It could be just as gloomy, and then there's no reason to think it's all going to be light and fucking love, you know.
But
so
it's a problem. Everybody wants, you know, to define everything and put a geometry and a box through it and say there it's there. There's the certainty, we've pinpointed it, and that scares me more than being part of an infinite, eternal thing that I can never define, that I can never know fully. You know what I mean? Because if you could figure it out, where does that then leave you?
Yeah. I mean, it's the concept of infinity is analogous to that, because I mean, I think that's one of the things, you know, even the concept or the meaning of that word is not graspable, right?
No.
I can't grasp it. It's indefinite is the correct way of saying it.
Aye.
You know what I mean? It's not possible to put a label on it.
Exactly.
You know, so
exactly.
And that's why I think, you know, mathematicians, when they think they can, aren't really. You know, they're making a fallacy. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's.
Aye.
Anyway, I'm not going to keep it. I'm just going to step out and let you go on.
No worries, mate. Aye, I'm probably going to
knackered today, so.
Aye, cheers for coming in anyway, mate. Always appreciated. So.
Catch you soon, eh?
No worries,
Take care.
man. Take it easy.
Yeah, cheers.
Exactly, Johnny Martyr. Exactly. All the observations of reality confirm the Earth being aspherical. It's just word salad. That's just wishful thinking, Trev, son. You can keep spewing the mantras all you like. It's just not going to wash here. You've got the opportunity to show us and you know, change my mind that it's a nature-defying testicle I'm living on. But you've not got anything. If you had something, you would be here. You'd offer it. You've just got word salads. Again, keep displaying your weakness. You're going to get ignored till you get something relevant, you piece of shit. That's it, best fids ever. You know, you're part of the effects. We're within. We're submerged. We are within. You know, and it's like I could put you in a room of a mansion, and I could make the room, you know, an octagon, and you could be in that room trying to fathom out where you are and what you're a part of here based on what you're observing in the room until you're removed from the reference frame totally, like a vantage point of outside the house, and you can see the house as a whole. You would never know what you were a part of from being in the octagon room. That's the best analogy I can have for it. So we're part of this reality, we're part of the effect. So until you're removed from the reference frame of life and having the ability to see it as a whole out with, you don't know what you were in, you don't know what you're involved with. No. That's it, Lisa. It's more than a decade. I'm never going to stop. It will never end until I'm gone. Deja vu. Deja vu is an interesting one for me. I used to think about, you know, it's like there's a kind of deterministic aspect of experience. So when you're in a situation, it's like, you know, there's a 1.5 second delay. And it's almost like if you've got a projector screen, you've got a projector here and you've got the screen here, and then you've got the observer here. The observer's watching the screen all the time, and it experiences the screen for that moment in time. But every now and again you might get a glimpse of the information being transmitted to the screen, and you see it before it hits the screen. And that's kind of like maybe deja vu for me. It's like you just get that wee glimpse. It's like you kind of go to a sync and you get a glimpse of the experience on its way to manifesting before you actually have the experience, and then you sync up with it. And if you look at it, it's like a 1.5 second kind of delay. And then all of a sudden you're in the moment and it's gone again. So I don't know, I mean, deja vus are interesting, but that's kind of the best I came up with, you know. 2 celestial pole stars done. 2 celestial pole. Hang on a now. I'm going to look at intangible, visible phenomena in the skies. Then I'm going to interpret it according to my axioms and my wee mathematical definitions. Then I'm going to create an abstract mathematical concept. And then I'm going to tell everybody I understand what's happening. Fucking genius. Can you explain for us all right here and now how these intangible, 2-dimensional visible phenomena in the sky gives you measurable proof of the earth you're standing upon, dipstick? Hurry up, this will be great. Here's a one for you. Go and measure the kitchen floor. I only want you to look at the light bulb though. Hurry up, fucktard. Chop chop. Fucking imbecile. Absolute fucking cretin. Shut up, Trevor, you've got nothing, son. You're just no clever enough. Imbecile. Spank. Now toddle off. Stop listening to Timmy Osmonds and Simon Dans and Baldy Cats and all that. You're complete and utter fucktard. They're retarding you. You're coming here and getting an absolute arse spanking. Too easy. Triangulation, learn how it works. Triangulation? What, so you're talking about, you know, Euclidean plane principles again? Triangles. Flat lines. Triangles have not got curved lines on them. You're complete and utter buffoon, you. Triangulation, I'll just say words and try and sound intellectual. Stars, triangles, yeah. You're just a buffoon. Must be a noob. Hang on to calibrate my sextant here to the horizontal, right? And then I'm going to imagine that it's a curve on the bottom line, because I would have to, because if it was really curved, then my angles would all be out. It would totally go on. Call your triangle and raise it by a hexagon. See, that was saying earlier, that's the problem. It's maybe a noob that's listening to these fucking delusional bufters and thinks because of their fucking pompous attitude that they're telling them the truth or something, or it's convincing them. Then they come here and just get fucking bitch slapped to the side. It's embarrassing for them. Anywho, I'm going to get off skis. I'm going to get off, ski pops. Understood maths. Understood maths. You obviously didn't, eh? Talking about triangles and fucking, you know, stars and all that. I mean, you're a buffer. Thanks everybody. Take it easy. I'll see you all very soon. And ta-ta now.